Then they started the usual, let's tear her down. That's not really her child. She's made a mistake. All this negative publicity followed. People overlooked the fact that I took the time to have the photographs authenticated. That publicity reached around the world, literally. I began getting emails from people in Australia, France, Greece, everywhere this story appeared through the Internet. With that came offers of help. That's when I met an Internet detective that I've been working with ever since. He supplied me with information that they have learned from their country fighting human trafficking. And then in the process, I received more photographs that came on a CD through the U.S. mail. There was no postmark on the mail. There was just stamps. So I called the Postmaster General to find out how could this come through the mail without a stamp on it. And they said, oh, well, it does. So I called the West Des Moines police again, told them I got this CD, and that CD had, I think it was right around 250 pictures on it. Many were Johnny, some were not. I asked them if they wanted the CD, would they want the envelope and everything in case they want to run it through the lab for fingerprints. No one ever bothered to call me back. No one. Not the FBI, not the West Des Moines police. No one was interested in that package of pictures.
That was how long ago, Noreen?
That was 2006. So I then contacted a computer programmer friend of mine. He's very sharp. I let him look at the CD, and I said, can you get anything off this CD? Well, he happened to also be an expert in computer forensics. We then found out that these pictures were being posted on a Russian website. We found the Russian website. This young man also secured the passwords for me. On those sites, you go into one area using a password. Then that takes you to another area, and you have to have another password and another to get to where the pictures are. Well, this young man cracked all that for me. So I contacted the National Center for Missing Children. I made that CD available to them, and the website, and the password. They contacted me back, and they said, we have been trying for 4 years to get this website and get the password. How did you do it? And I said, well, I will not reveal my source as to who worked on this for me. He just happens to be very good on computers, which I wasn't in that area. This has led to a big investigation. We now know that this Russian website has got 8 million pictures of children on it. 8 million. The kids are from all over the world, many of Johnny. Now, I wanted to know, and I stated this in every speech, I want to know, I stated in the interviews, I want to know, why is a little boy from West Des Moines, Iowa, on a Russian pedophile website? Why? Who put him there?
The statistic that I read, I believe that it's 1 out of every 5 pornographic pictures on the Internet is of a child.
That's right. And the whole thing about this Russian website is the pictures of Johnny did not start appearing until right around the time that they were sent to me. Somebody's had them in their private collection all this time and are just now releasing them like 10 or 12 at a time on this Russian website. And I have people that watch that site for me all the time. And when new pictures of Johnny develop there, are put on there, they let me know and they get them for me. And to date, the pictures that I have never fully been investigated by the West Des Moines Police, because in an article on September 5th of 2007, which was the 25th anniversary, they stated that they never really investigated the origin of the photographs.
Was there
that was their own statement. What was that?
Was there any explanation given as to why they had not investigated those?
No, that was just a statement they gave the press when an interview was done, and I just read it in the paper. They just said they didn't. They never really investigated the origin of the photographs. Well, the mom did.
Mm-hmm.
I went farther. I contacted, if the law enforcement wasn't going to help me, I went to people who were experts in computer forensics. It's an area that I've not studied. I didn't know how to do it, but I found people that could, and they were very kind to help me. And that's how we found out what we know today, and that this many pictures exist of children. And when the FBI steps forward a few weeks ago and made the statement that we're losing the battle, we're losing the war on child pornography. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, and they,
pretty
they estimate, sad. Even the CIA estimates 50,000 women and children brought in, sexually exploited, I believe that's the number, in this country alone. 800,000 go missing every year. Now, not all of them kidnap victims, but obviously it speaks to a huge problem, and one would think with the extent of the problem that there would certainly be more effort on a large scale.
Oh, definitely. And the children that are used over and over again, they're only useful until they reach a certain age. Then they're not useful for a pedophile any longer. So then they have to get more children.
Right.
Or if they use the children in a snuff film where the child is actually murdered on the screen, then of course they need a new actor. And so the supply and demand continues. And I know more now about Johnny's kidnapping because I was persistent and because I never gave up. And my private investigator years ago told me, investigate everything that comes your way, even if it seems preposterous, and you will eventually find out what happened to your son. And then he said, just because you may not want to believe something doesn't mean that it isn't true.
And I think that's in large part why there isn't as much activity or focus, because people don't want to admit that it could possibly be going on here, that level of darkness, that level of evil exists within our borders.
That's true.
And we just have a couple more minutes live portion of the program here. So can you just give a brief update? What's the latest? I know that Johnny is alive, and but can you share just the last minute updates? And one thing that I've also asked Noreen to do is periodically, as new information comes in, to let me know, and we will definitely be having her back on the program to provide updates on this and any other case that she's involved in. Because obviously our goal, again, is to procure the abolition of the trafficking of humans. Hopefully we will simply be a mouthpiece or a forum, at least for that discussion, and uncovering the darkness that is out there. So can you just give a little bit of information on what's happening right now in the case?
Okay. I continue to get photographs of Johnny, and some of them are coming now with more detailed clues in them, like there will be the name of a place in the photograph. So then we send that photograph in right away to be authenticated to make sure that what is in the photograph as far as identification purposes is not something that was put in with Photoshop or something like that was doctored. And as soon as we get them authenticated and know that it was probably an original picture that was taken, people probably never thought it would end up on the Internet.
Right.
But people trade these pictures like baseball cards. They buy and sell them. So that's yet another extension of this business. And this is how these collections, if you will, are getting placed on the Internet. Somebody buys them and puts them on, and then they have it rigged on their website that if you want them, you have to buy them. And